broadcasting live from Seagate on the plane of... It's not Zendikar. It's the Prime Material plane. This is Tap Tap Concede. Hi, and welcome to Tap Tap Concede. I'm Cameron, and I'll be your host this week. You may notice Graham isn't here. That's entirely intentional. We are mixing things up a little bit and trying to get new people on. To that note, joining me this week, Ben Wheeler.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
And, as always, Nelson.
And I am also here. Hi.
This podcast, along with many of our Magic-related contents, is brought to you by Card Kingdom. cardkingdom.com/LRR. If you go and visit them and you put in the text box on your order form where you might also ordinarily put things like, we appreciate how fast your shipping is, you can put loading ready run sent me button please, and you'll get a little 1-inch button that says, is it still weird tap but okay? It is weird tap but okay. So yeah, please consider visiting them and telling them how much you appreciate how hard they work. Today we're going to talk to you a bit about Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate.
But first, we're going to thank the Patreons, right, at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. Because you also work hard at giving us your money, and we work hard at using it.
I've only been doing this for years, and I guess I just kind of go through the intro on autopilot without really thinking about it. So yes, Thank you to all of our patrons over on patreon.com. You did this.
A special thank you to all of you, and a personal message to Graham. Cameron and I haven't been listening that whole time.
No,
it's been however many years of Graham running that intro, and we've never really heard it.
Honestly, it's just kind of cobwebs up here.
I've got like a wind tunnel.
Oh,
It goes.
that must be refreshing
through my brain.
That
my brain would be.
Like, that has to feel so good. Either that, or it's a bit like, when you take a COVID test and you swab, like you're doing the Total Recall.
Most people have there's a point of resistance they have to feel, but I just have to keep going and kind of get the corners.
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
I have a monkey with symbols.
Nice.
Ooh. Keeps time.
Yep.
It's always good to know what time it is.
Okay, but I would like to formally apologize for cutting you off, because you were telling us that we were going to talk about Baldur's Gate.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate, which we've had an opportunity to play a little bit of. And just kind of give our impressions of the set and the gameplay patterns that it kind of encourages. Because normally I'm not a huge Commander player, but this really intrigued me. And I wanted to start off by talking a bit about the broader mechanics and how they push the game forward and encourage players to do things like take game actions.
Oh. Do love me a game action.
And where I wanted to start with was initiative.
Great.
Initiative is a mechanic that... James, would you be able to bring up any card with initiative for us? It's a bit like Monarch combined with Enter the Dungeon, in that many cards will say when this card enters the battlefield, you gain the initiative. And the initiative is a object that is passed around between players that indicates that at the beginning of your upkeep, if you have the initiative, you get to draw a card.
You get to venture into the dungeon.
Right, but I thought... Oh, right, you venture into the Underdark.
Yeah.
Or the Undercity. The Undercity, excuse me. Sometimes that can look like drawing a card. And the Undercity is a lot like the dungeons in the previous Forgotten Realms set, only they're much better.
Yeah, the Undercity is a new, more powerful dungeon, right?
Quite. And once again, if you have the initiative and you take damage during an attack, then the player who attacked you gets the initiative. So it gets passed around across the table, and it encourages a little bit of aggression. How was your experience with it? Because my experience was that it really pushed players to do things instead of just passively building up board stalls. The power of each step of the Undercity really kind of made you not want to let your opponents have that or keep it for very long.
Yeah, I would agree. It seemed like once someone has taken the initiative in the game once, it really encourages just everyone to kind of attack right from then on. You know, it's just like the person who just had a turn says go and it's your turn and they have the initiative. And it's like, okay, I want to attack the person who just had a turn. And that's like the play pattern that happened pretty regularly in the one game I played.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Ben?
I love it. It's great.
Okay.
It's really nice that you get the ability immediately. I think that makes people also make attacks knowing roughly like what they're going to get.
Yes.
Because if they attack and then somebody loses life or something gets bigger, or it go to target, they can make something that might, normally punish them, but now they can then operate off of, this new information or board state. And so it leads to these like, you're not just doing it because it gets you up a card. You're doing it because it like shifts where your board is at.
Yes.
And also progresses the game.
Right. Like there are effects on the Undercity card, like put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature. So you can make your plans based around that, right? Or go to creature. Like it isn't simply drawing a card or scrying a bit, although those effects are there.
Yeah.
So it allows you to like strategize a little bit, but honestly, it really feels like you're hanging on to this thing by your fingernails at every opportunity. Because if the person to your left doesn't take it from you, the person to their left will try. So if you hang on to it through one player's turn, you're going to be kind of attrited down. Attrited down? You will experience attrition as everyone kind of comes for you.
Yeah, what is the verb form of attrition?
Yeah.
Thanks for pulling up the Undercity here, James. So if you remember, the AFR dungeon rooms had like each room, except for the bottom ones, like when you get out, it's usually like, okay, this is like casting a full spell. Like I get a 4/4, or I draw a card is like the most tame one, like the quickest one to get through is just I draw a card. But these rooms are all like, instead of feeling like something that's tacked onto a spell, most of these rooms are like a spell you would pay 1 or 2 mana for or more, right? Like make a 4/1 with Menace. That's usually 4 mana, right?
Yeah,
like,
pretty good.
Like,
Yeah,
like
it's
how do you
very
get
good.
just a vanilla 4/1 with Menace? Can you get that for 3 mana? Probably eventually it will be, but 2 mana, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Like
yeah.
a
Like a 4/2, the common draft shash 4/2 red like dude is like 4 mana.
Yeah, exactly. Usually it's 4 mana. So that's the fourth room on this one, but still, the first one is Lay of the Land.
Oh.
So that's like a card that you like to put in your deck. Like that, it's a fantastic, like, especially the first time that someone gets the initiative. For sure, everyone is trying to get the initiative.
Yes, like you could write an entire paper on just what Secret Entrance does to smooth out a game.
Yeah.
What it does to the mana base too. Because like
Yes.
if you are realistically in a 4-player pod, somebody is going to start taking the initiative, right? If it's not you, it's going to be somebody else there. And so I think that you can take that into consideration when you're deciding how many mana sources you want as well, or like if how wacky your mana is going to get, or greedy to one color or to the other, because you're like, well, I'm always going to get to Lay the Land at least, probably around turn 4 or whatever, which is like when people start to get a little greedy with their mana bases, especially for Commander, that's when they kind of stop, as they're like, oh, I hit my 4th land and then I just didn't draw another land, which in Commander is bad. You want to get up to like land 20, right?
Yeah, like 8.
Yeah, yeah.
8 is kind of
Yeah.
the minimum where you feel comfortable, right?
Yeah.
I agree. It's like you still need to play lands in your deck, obviously, to make your first several land drops and stuff, but you can splash any number of your 3rd color or your 4th color off just one basic, because the Secret Entrance is going to get you there. The other thing is, like, you can't, I totally agree with your statement earlier that, like, someone in all these Commander Legends draft games, someone's going to take the initiative at some point. And then because it has this Monarch-like quality, the cat's out of the bag, you have to be one of the people that's getting value out of the Undercity, because it's just sort of better than most of what the decks are trying to do, I would say. Not way better than every synergy you can find in the draft environment, but just like if everyone else is doing it and you're not, that's, I think, a problem.
Like, honestly, I would think you could probably survive a game of Commander Legends in which you personally ignore whoever has the initiative and just do your own thing. It's not absolutely backbreaking by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a shiny, and somebody else has something, and I think Commander players are very used to the idea of evaluating threats poorly.
Yeah,
right?
right.
Like, hey, they're getting something and I'm not. I'm going to windmill into their board and ruin their life.
This is like this is going to be a recurring thing for this set and the mechanics and the cards and everything, is that it solves a huge issue with Commander, and especially with less enfranchised players that use Commander as their entrance, is they don't like losing their things.
Yes.
Even if ultimately they'll come out on top. And so this will push them either from the words as you go through the Undercity or just the idea of, ooh, shiny thing, to take game actions where they're like, oh, I can't believe I'm going to lose a token, but it's worth it. And it's like, yeah, you're hitting them for 10 and you lose a soldier. Like,
Yes.
yeah, but it's weird to think of that as something that, like, of course you do it, but no, people go like, well, if I attack with my 3/3 and they block with their 3/3, we're going to both lose our 3/3s. Well, nobody wins. I go, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
No Commander Legends draft games end after no one attacks for
Yeah.
20 turns, right? Which, like, is how some real Commander draft or Commander games go.
Yeah.
I say that and now I feel like I'm going to look back and someone's going to show me. They're going to figure out a way to kill everyone with mill. But yeah, game actions. It's fantastic. I started talking for some reason and then forgot what else I was going to say. Oh, right. Sorry. One more thing. I just wanted to say, even if you don't plan on using the Undercity in your draft deck as your main focus, I still think it's worth putting whatever cards you can that say take the initiative, because someone's going to get it started. We mentioned earlier, and it's just really nice some turns to not have to attack and play one of your take the initiative cards to just get it back on your side and get the next chapter.
Yeah.
Because some of these chapters are really powerful.
There's a card, it's just a common, and it's a 5 mana or a 6 mana 3/6 Vigilance take the initiative.
Rather white one.
Yeah. And it's just big. It's just got a huge butt, but it takes the initiative.
Yes.
And so like getting to do that while building to the board and doing in such a way that like is very difficult to remove is such a feel good.
Yeah. I
And
like this card a lot.
And it's just like I don't know if that's where I'd want to be. Like that's not a card that I play and go like, yes, now I'm a take the initiative deck. But having it in a deck that isn't like, you know, just wants a top end or whatever felt great. It's like, I need to rebuild.
Well, it's just a very also like well named mechanic, right? Because take the initiative is an imperative, right? You want to have the strategic initiative in a game where you are the one deciding where and when combat happens and who is being attacked, and you want to be setting up your own defenses kind of proactively with the understanding that people are going to come after you for this if they don't have a card that says take the initiative. And yeah, it just feels like a way of keeping these games moving and a much more graceful way of breaking up board stalls than something like, I don't know, Annihilator, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's more fun if there's something shiny that everyone gets to chase after, rather than just some like brutal attack bonus that is going to kill one player more.
Yes.
Right. This is like the more fun version, right?
Yeah, it almost feels like in Plane Chase there was a plane called, was it just Shiv?
Yeah.
That's one of them.
Where every turn it did an amount of damage, like an increasing amount of damage, but the player to your left took one more damage than you did. So it disincentivized you from trying to planeswalk away from it.
Right.
Because
it's a payoff if you don't.
yeah, if you don't, then the person to your left is getting hit just a little bit harder than you. You could stop it. But surely somebody else will decide to stop it before it comes back to you, right?
I hope we're getting another plane chase set soon.
And that would be kind of cool.
I know I joked before about how I want it to be on the plane shift plane or whatever of D&D, but any more plane chase stuff would be sweet. That product is awesome.
Yeah, agreed. Do we want to talk a little bit about the effect of goad in the
Sure,
format.
yeah.
The presence of goad. So goad is a mechanic that says that it forces a creature to attack, and it forces a creature to attack somebody other than you, if possible. And it appears on a bunch of cards. Like there's a kobold that when it attacks, goads something the defending player controls. And this kobold isn't making it home to its kids, but neither is whatever it decides to provoke into attacking. So this can also really ruin somebody who's kind of playing Commander like you play StarCraft, right?
Right.
Where you have a bunch of players doing their own thing and then one person playing SimCity.
Love Goad.
Yeah, it's great. I like Goat a lot too.
I attack a lot in Commander. My favorite commanders are ones that attack, mono white, Boros, that kind of thing. And I am a huge fan of Goad for the same reasons of like incentivizing or at sometimes even just like forcing people that don't want to attack to attack, but not in a way of like, no, you're going to do this and you're going to like it. It's like, you're going to do this and hey, it's a multiplayer political game, right? Like it feels, there's an extra layer on it that kind of dashes away this like pushing someone to do something that they don't necessarily want to do. So it's not a huge feel bad all the time. And then it's really nice to see a mechanic that like shows that other people at the table care about attacking, if that makes sense. Because like often when you're the player, when you're the like Isamaru player or whatever, like you're the person that's like, my deck attacks and that's all it does. Sometimes you feel like you've brought, I don't know, what's a really awkward thing to bring to like a potluck? Like
Twister.
The hotspot? It's like, a summer potluck and you bring like some dish that is totally out there and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I got the wrong memo here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, you've shown up with like, I don't know,
Cheese fondue in the middle of summer.
Yeah. And so having other people actually start to care about combat is kind of neat. I don't feel as though it lessens my decisions as a person looking to end lives, but instead makes me have to, like, now I have this different puzzle, right?
Yes.
And now I have also this idea of like, well, this is goated. How do I like configure my turn so that this is actually beneficial?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that it goes all the way back to deck construction, where you are drafting knowing that goad is going to be abundant in the format and that you will be expected to attack.
Yeah, combat tricks in this format are good.
Yes. And you can goad something very important to a player and they can do everything in their power to protect it, and you might not be able to kill it because they might just have to empty their hand to preserve something that's important to them.
Yeah, most of the goads I saw, like, it wasn't so much I need to kill that, although that would be nice. Like, you would think that the main purpose of goad is like target a small creature, it can't attack me, and someone else is going to block it and kill it, and it's going to take care of that creature. But just as often it's like, okay, there's this one scary thing. Someone does have a battle cruiser, and we need to like keep me alive, so I'm just going to goad it so it attacks someone else.
Yeah,
and I don't care if they kill the attacking creature. I don't care if the attacking creature dies. This is just me on survival mode, and I'm using goad to like try to untap.
Yes. Yeah. I also really want to see a goad. I want to see a creature with goad get goaded, right? Because that way at least it's not attacking you.
Right, that's funny. Yeah.
And then, you've just caused havoc.
I agree though, like, you look at the mechanic, you think, okay, it's going to do this one thing, but then it gives back more. Like goad is a fun mechanic for everybody, even when your stuff gets goaded and like your creatures are going to die in combat. It provides you with this interesting experience where you're like, okay, Cameron goaded me, so I have to attack Wheeler with that creature, but maybe my other creatures are going to attack Cameron back out of spite, or like you said, new puzzles. Like, okay, now that I have this creature or that creature goaded, what is my best turn now? Like, how can I profit from this somehow? How can I make an attack, even though it's not the one I was planning on last turn? I make an attack that somehow benefits me and comes back around to help me.
I I also like that I think it kind of normalizes, or at least says like, hey, this is okay.
Yeah.
To like it unlocks the option of player removal or the threat of player removal as a way to get rid of something that'll kill you or everyone else. Like,
Right.
and that sounds kind of weird, but like, again, Commander games need to end.
Commander
Yes.
games need to end.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, like-
we've been like up on this soapbox for a while, but like clearly the designers
And-
agree with us.
And like people also like it kind of feels bad. I'm guilty of it myself too. Like, you know, after playing Commander all these years, sometimes it's like, I don't want to kill this person. Right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
this game's going on for another 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, you're just standing there like the kid in the stock photograph, right? With,
Yeah.
like crying, right?
The good news is, at least in games from this set, it seems like from the limited amount of experience we've had, it seems like once one peg falls, the other dominoes fall pretty quickly too. Like, I don't
Right.
think anybody had to wait more than 20 minutes from what we've seen. So probably, even if you're the one who's first out, you know, your friends are going to be ready for another game soon.
Right. And just the ambient presence of these mechanics in the set means that like there is a kind of plausible deniability to it, even though I keep saying this about Commander games and it never actually seems to pan out, right? Like, hey, sorry, I didn't mean to like have to attack you, but my creature was goated, right? And you would think in a rational environment, most people would be like, yeah, no, I get it. That just happens in this environment where all of these things are playing with each other. But in the moment, I'm like, yeah, but you played a creature that could get goated. Right? Therefore, bloody vengeance.
How
will be
dare
mine.
you?
Yeah.
Right.
You played a creature that attacked well.
You had two other choices still.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you here.
Just remember, you could have just conceded to me as soon as we sat down. Why didn't you kill my two enemies and then concede?
But so those are kind of the two mechanics that I really like caught my eye and that I was impressed by.
I would
in
talk
the
about
format.
background.
Okay.
if you
Yes.
want.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, previous Commander Legend. It's funny, like, you know, we talked about it a bit, but I feel like the whole world could probably use more original Commander Legends content too. And it's like it did have Monarch, which to kind of fuel the same sort of situations that the initiative fuels, and I think it might have had Goat. I don't actually remember, but Goat has
Yeah.
been around before in Conspiracy, so we've seen both those mechanics and kind of how they help multiplayer games. Now this is more about the draft. The first Commander Legends set had a whole bunch of partners at Uncommon and Rare, I think.
Yep.
And so usually you could aim to be a 3-color deck by having like a gold partner with another partner. Were you usually two?
There weren't any
Did
gold
you have to be?
partners.
Oh, okay. Did you? Because I had a 3-color deck, but I had a rare. But I thought there was 2 ways to do it. And the last one, no. Okay, so you were a
No.
2-color deck, or you could be a 3-color deck if you found one of several rare
Yeah, there were
3-color ones.
Yeah.
Now in AFR Commander Legends or Baldur's Gate Commander Legends, there's only a few 3-color gold ones. So like maybe
Yeah.
they're mythic, or there's just not as many. I think in the rare slots. Certainly, we didn't see as many. So instead of having a bunch of uncommon partners that are 1 color each, you have a bunch of 1-color legendary background characters. So they're a legendary creature that say choose a background. And instead of Prismatic Piper, you have the Faceless one, who is a 5-mana 3/3 generic mana cost, so a colorless legendary creature that says choose a color. This can be your commander, and choose a background. So this'll give you, and you don't have to draft this, just like the Prismatic Piper. So this will give you the option to have a commander, although you still have to draft your background. So it's a bit more of a constraint. In Commander Legends, the first one, you were allowed to just name 2 Prismatic Pipers, 1 red, 1 blue, and then you didn't have to bother drafting commander at all. In Baldur's Gate, if you don't pick a background that's the color you want to play, or one of the colors you want to play, you have to play a 1-color deck, which can also work out. You can play a 1-color deck for sure.
Huh? What do you mean?
That actually impressed me in that because you're always drafting 2 cards, you can kind of aggressively play the cutting colors strategy in the draft.
Right.
And you can wind up with very, I feel it is possible to wind up with a playable monocolor deck in this format.
For sure. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can be 1 color. It's okay. The other thing is that because you have to do at least a little bit of work, and the backgrounds are all like kind of specific, and they only work when your commander's out. So the backgrounds, I would say, like, they're neat. It's interesting design space, but they're a bit powered down from partner.
Yes.
For a couple reasons. One is just what the backgrounds do. Like, none of them, I think, are as powerful as like some of the commanders with partner, some of the most powerful partner commanders.
Yeah, partner's a little busted.
Partner is pretty strong, right? The other thing is just inherently about partner, you have 2 creatures that are your commander, each with their own separate tax. Now, that's the same in the new set with your commander or your background. But you generally only have to play your background once, unless someone feels like taking it out with their like overcosted reclamation stage. It's just going to chill. And so your commander tax stacks more quickly, like to get a creature that can deal commander damage or like turn on other things that require creatures like attacking or playing pump spells, playing equipment, whatever it is. To get a creature, you have to pay 2 more each time, like a regular commander from before partner. Whereas with partner, you can alternate them so that like your commander tax increases at kind of half the rate that it typically would.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting thought. Like, also that a background might paint a larger target on your commander.
For sure.
Yep.
Yeah, because your background doesn't do anything unless your commander's on the table.
Yeah, you don't need specialized enchantment removal
Yeah.
for the background if you can just murder their commander again.
Yeah, just goad it and block it with your Death Touch or whatever. So both of these, I think, make an impact on the set that turns out, like, I think if you take the AFR Battle for Baldur's Gate commander decks and jam them against like the Commander Legends decks in the first round, I think Commander Legends overall is a bit more powerful, but I still think this is really well designed and fun. But it's something to keep in mind when you're doing background.
Yeah, I mean, I think background has a lot of interesting implications outside of this draft environment too. Like,
Sure.
they're just good in the 99 a lot of the times.
Yeah, no, they're cool enchantments. Yeah.
And they allow for a lot of focus on utility where players normally wouldn't. Like, they kind of put the emphasis on your commander, even when they are the effects that say like your commander has other creatures you control get blank or
Right.
whatever. And so thematically it feels kind of cool of like all my dorky little things need this commander that just makes them better, and then all of a sudden I'm getting a bunch of value, but I still feel like I have to play out the card that, you know, my deck is named after, and that feels really nice.
Yeah, and also the backgrounds, with them being so hyper specialized, you can do things like play. The ones I saw going around were a lot of like actually aristocrat or black red sacrifice themed.
Yeah.
So you didn't need to pick up an aristocrat commander. You just needed a body that could pick up a background, and suddenly, you know, you put the different hat on them, and now they're an aristocrat, which
Yeah.
I really appreciated.
No, yeah, that background you picked up that turns your commander into a blood artist was pretty cool, for sure. I think in the draft, the background mechanic made finding a commander or a commander background pair more work. Like, I only got to do 2 first Commander Legends drafts, but both times when I was drafting, I felt like, okay, I'm getting this powerful card, that powerful card. Okay, this commander's here. It's in a color of one of the things I took. I'll take that because it's probably fine in the 99 too, or the 59 or whatever, or the 58. And so, like, going through the draft in first Commander Legends, it felt like there will be time. Don't fret. Like, maybe one person in the pod, I think, like Surge, when we were drafting at the theater in third pack, still didn't have a commander, but then got one or whatever.
I think that's a Surge thing.
It sounds like
I
a
think
Surge
that's
thing.
just a Surge thing.
Yeah. Can't play those kitchen finks, and you got to remember to draft a commander. But like most everybody, it felt like had the same story I did, where it was like after pack 2 they had a commander or a partner pair, and then by pack 3 it was like, oh, actually I have this other option. Whereas my draft of Baldur's Gate was like pack 1 I had no options whatsoever. I didn't see any legendary creatures that went along with like the first few powerful cards I took. I could have like veered off and grabbed like, you know, a green-white commander when I was like black red or whatever, but I didn't because I knew I had 2 more packs. And then pack 2 I spent several picks getting commanders because first I found like a background that was at least the right color, and then I found like a legendary creature that was good, and then I found a better background, and then I found a gold creature in the same color. So it was like my first like 8 picks, or my first like 4 sets of like grabbing 2 cards. It was like my pack, get 2 more powerful cards, and then for the next 4 passes, I'm like slowly upgrading what my commander is, and like it just felt like it was a lot more dedicated effort to getting the commander than the first time.
Okay.
Didn't have that problem.
Okay.
I first picked a commander and then
Just locked in. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's sweet. Okay.
I first picked a commander in the color that I was hoping to play, and I also was able to pick a background in an archetype that I was interested in. But like just being able to at least take the pressure off of not having to worry that I wouldn't have a commander, even though the commander that I did pick up wasn't necessarily the one I wanted for my archetype. But at least I had that problem solved, right?
Right.
At least I knew that I would be able to play the game.
it'll take more, drafts of that format to really figure this out. But my feeling, after talking to everybody that was
Right.
in the draft, and my experience, it feels like I think there should be a greater emphasis on drafting your commander and then drafting around that, as opposed to the traditional of like, this is a good card, I'm going to pick it. This is another very good card in my color, I'm going to pick it. Like, I don't think your cards need to be that good.
Sure.
Because they're all pretty good, if that makes sense.
No, for
Like,
sure. No,
yeah.
I agree. Like figuring out which were the playables I was cutting was tough too. Like you kind of just made curve decisions because the power level it's not totally flat, but the bad cards are still pretty good.
Yeah,
basically,
the
in this
bad
format.
the bad
Yeah.
cards all still like they're. I don't feel bad for Magic cards ever, but I feel bad calling them bad. Like because
Sure.
they're just like, no, actually, that's pretty good. Like even again that kind of dumpy knight. Okay, well that's a little rude. The big white.
What did you call me?
The one that takes the initiative. It's just like,
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't thinking about playing that card in deck building until I got to the end where I'm like, well, this card's probably fine.
Yeah, we've barely talked about any specific cards in this podcast, but one of the ones we called out is 5 mana, 3/6 vigilance.
Yeah,
Like this
right.
isn't normally like something you're so hyped
Yeah,
for.
there we go.
5 mana, 3/6 vigilance. Okay, like I remember this card from reprinted in Modern Masters, where it had, it was the one with plane cycling from.
Sure.
Oh, Noble Templar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if Noble Templar, instead of plane cycling, had Lay of the Land?
Cameron, please.
Seems pretty wild,
This is a
right?
video medium.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Another card that we usually see last picked in drafts is Panic Attack. And I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of this one, but I think it's still just 3 mana.
Oh.
And the Panic Attack in this set
Yeah.
is still a common.
It's so
red.
good.
It's not, it's unassuming. It's a sorcery. Sometimes it'll win if you're in a 1v1 and you can attack for lethal. But this one also goads the creatures you target.
Somebody tweeted about this earlier
Yeah.
today.
So
Oh, really?
well, yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like a pretty impactful card in
What is
the
it called?
games we played.
Yeah.
I think Adam played it.
3 things can't block and then goad them. Right?
Yeah.
Right, yes.
Yeah,
A
Coronation of Chaos.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my god. That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, goading 3 creatures in a full commander game is pretty powerful,
Well, like,
at least in this format.
if
Yeah.
the defending player lives,
Sure.
right? Like,
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, it has 2 modes, right?
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
either like kill someone or you can kill everyone.
It's like take the initiative, then at least, soft guarantee that they won't take the initiative back and might in fact make attacks that will push the other players into positions where they are unable to take the initiative.
Right.
And so like if you say your big things can't block, I'm going to take the initiative, and then their big things have to fight the other 2 players, and they might not want to take heaps of damage or lose their creatures or whatever. And so they use resources. And then they're like, okay, well, now either I can't take the initiative back, or these other 2 players can try to take the initiative, but then the pressure is just on them now. Now they just took a bunch of damage, and now there's a big target over their head.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's just good magic.
Yeah,
That's
I
just
mean,
good
this
commander.
this
right?
card
Like-
is like extremely like thinker, like go ahead and write your essays about what you do in different board states with this card, which is kind of incredible because if you take away the sentence goad them, and it's like usually still the same mana cost for a card that's been printed with a few different names over the years, it usually only shows up in like instead of a 17th land in like a hyper aggro mono red deck with a bunch of bad creatures. Like that's the only other place that you see this, and it's like the opposite of a subtle and varied and an interesting card, because you just either like cast it and win the game, or you die with it in your hand and feel bad about including it in your deck. So yeah, well done on designing this card.
Good
WotC staff.
shout out, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right about this one. I love it.
Thanks.
One other thing I just wanted to mention briefly was that the RNG cards in this set feel like they benefited tremendously from AFR. In that the roll of dice cards in AFR felt kind of conservative, like they
Right.
weren't sure of the power level of them, and here they feel like they're comfortable being a little weirder with them.
Did they always give us something for a 20 this time?
I think so.
I feel like everyone I looked at-
there's a bunch that are like 1 to 14 and then 15 to 20.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
But
15 to 20 still feels like
Yeah,
it's satisfying. I just didn't like the ones that were like, I don't know, 1 to 10 and then 11 to 20. If there was
Yes.
space on the card, I really like if they're like 11 to 19. Because some of them did it, right?
Yeah.
But not all of them. Yeah.
Well, like I don't have a specific card to shout out here, which is because I did not prepare. But it felt a bit like the differences in the conspiracies between conspiracy and conspiracy take the crown.
Right. Just a lot more subtlety.
Yeah, like they were more confident in the design space and less afraid of it breaking the game in some fundamental way. Like in the original conspiracy, the conspiracies might be like, name a creature, all of creatures of that name get +1/+1, right? And then in Conspiracy 2, you had just kind of like stranger, subtler effects. And the RNG cards in this feel like that.
Do we have a very quick moment to
Yeah.
discuss my favorite part of this set?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
Adventure.
Yes.
Love
Okay,
adventure.
Yeah, Adventure's back.
One of
in a
my
big
favorite
way.
mechanics. And God, it's not an Eldraine, so it's even better. And
Yeah.
all the adventure
They
cards.
feel strong. They feel kind of
They're
pushed.
so good,
but not Questing Beast push.
but they're not. Yeah, it's not like Brazen Borrower push sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Right.
And they are, again, much like Goad, much like Take the Initiative, they are going to get commander players that fall under a certain set of stereotypes where they're like, only play big thing, me care only about myself,
Yeah.
They're going to push them to start playing utility spells and interaction, because your Naturalize is now also going to get you like a 5/6 vigilance, or you're going to get a flyer out of it that makes more tokens. There's a one card, it's something like Hippogriff. It's got it's 3 and a white for a 2/3 flyer. When it attacks, something else gets flying. That's just like a
Right.
very baseline limited card. But then the adventure, Tyr's Blessing, is 1 white. Target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. And it's so easy to just like make these attacks. They block in a certain way. And you're like, okay, indestructible. Which
Yeah.
is not like probably the best use of these kind of cards. You kind of want to get someone with like a Doomblade on the stack or whatever. But you're fine doing that because you're going to just get to play this 2/3 later. That'll
Yeah.
help push more damage and take the initiative back.
Yeah, it's like pseudo haste for the 1 extra mana, right? Like my
Yeah.
2/3 that is going to block this turn, or I'm passing as it'll be able to block, also helped me to push through, for the this turn's attack.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
very cool.
Love these cards. They're so good.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we'll have more time to talk about our favorite Commander Legends cards in one of the upcoming weeks as well.
Yeah, I think we might actually just have a bit of a shorter podcast this week. And we want to remind... And any closing thoughts?
I just want to
Oh, yeah, James.
quickly jump in here and let people know what they can expect with this set from us, because obviously we're talking about having played it recently, and we did mention on the podcast a few weeks back, and we've been talking about it as sort of publicly as possible, that there is obviously no pre-release for this event, because that would have happened like today or tomorrow as we're recording this. But what we did do is earlier in the week is we recorded a couple games. We brought in Shivam, we brought in Alias V, and 6 of us, and we drafted it, and we recorded a couple games, and those games are going to probably go up My guess is around release, hopefully like the day before. And the plan on our end is to obviously edit these things down into YouTube versions, and then I think we're going to try to stream them on Twitch so we can watch them all together. It should just be a lot of fun. So that's what you can expect with Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate from us. I just wanted to mention that.
All right. Well, any other closing thoughts?
I think if you want to get yourself some Battle for Baldur's Gate, you might consider heading on over to carding.com/LRR and let them know we sent you and whether or not you have any closing thoughts. Oh, also, if in the comments you could let us know what the most awkward thing to bring to a summer barbecue is.
Ooh, yeah.
Within a certain amount of discretion here.
Okay, I once brought my cold kale vegan soup,
Okay.
and it was great because I got it all.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I wish I was there.
Yeah, no, it's actually quite lovely.
Sounds yummy. Yeah.
You know, next time all three of us are on a podcast,
I'm hosting
I'll bring
barbecue.
some.
Yeah. But seriously, ask them for any sealed product from recent sets if you're in the States, or any singles from anywhere. Buy singles. And if you let them know that we sent you and ask for a button, you'll get a button that says, weird tap, but okay.
And as always, this is brought to you also by you, the viewer, over at patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, where your direct support of this and all of our content makes this and all of our content possible.
Pays for our coffee
Pays for, yeah.
and our rent.
Yeah. The photons you see bouncing off of us are funded in part by you. You did this. All
That's
right.
photons.
Nice.
It's all photons just bouncing off the room.
Somebody edits these and someone else gets them online.
Yes. So, okay. I have been Cameron. I want to thank Ben Wheeler.
Hello.
I want to thank Nelson.
I was here.
James is on tech. Bye. And Heather gets these online. So
Jordan edits them, maybe?
is
Someone edits them.
someone edits them.
Someone from Lur, thank you for listening to me. Thank you, even though I didn't know
Yeah.
your name.
I'm competent.
No, I'm not.
Wheeler edits them. He's the best.
I've been doing this for 3 years.
Appreciate you, man.
Oh, I didn't know we had an editor. Okay. Okay, this is over. Get out of my house. Bye-bye.
Bye.